Good afternoon. Good afternoon, lecture team.
Today's class is about attitude in learning and doing Tao.
I thought we were learning
Lecture time.
Well, yeah, that'll be next time.
Oh, this is nothing to do with electric thing.
He's gonna grow us today.
Electric thing.
Be prepared.
God, I thought we were learning how to make songs today.
Well, yeah, see that one?
Because we are not
I
qualified.
need a pen. Will you give me a pen, please?
Alright, thank you, Isabella, and virtues of the Masters, my predecessors for this opportunity to talk about proper attitudes in learning and different things. The reason why this is not the original topic, but it's related. This is related to everything we do, actually. Okay, so this is kind of like the foundation for us to be a better, more resourceful person. Okay, so that's why I thought it's important to talk about this first. Right. Okay, so basically we want to talk about certain, attitudes. Attitudes is one of the ways to say it, I guess. Attitude, spirit, of whether we're learning or doing things. Okay, it's very important.
本来我们这堂课不是这个题目的，但是呢，就是金讲师觉得这个态度这个问题非常重要，是学跟做很多，就是学到办到这些东西的一个基础。所以说还是要先讲这个基础的东西。那么这态度呢，做事情的态度，我们也可以说是一个精神哈。
Okay, so here, I've come up with a list that I would go through each of these. One of them, or maybe we should be one of the first ones, is inspiration. We should be inspired to do something. Okay. Now that's actually related to this one, motivation. Okay, these two. So once we're inspired, sometimes we get inspiration from other people. We see other people. We see how hardworking they are, or how they're smart, or they do a lot of work, do all sorts of things, and that can inspire us. So that's very important. Now, ultimately, though, it's important that we inspire ourselves. Okay, that inspiration should come from inside. Because if there's no one else doing anything spectacular, then we're not going to be inspired, right? If we depend on external inspiration. So ultimately, we have to inspire ourselves.
那谈到这态度呢，首先第一个就是我们要发心哈，发心有了这个发心，然后就要有这个有心，就是第一个是 inspiration， 第二个是 motivation。有些时候呢，我们碰到一些人或一些事情，他们的做法让我们非常的很受鼓励，很受这个启迪。那这时候我们就会发心。但是呢，最终呢，还是要这个发心不是从外在的一些根源，而是应该从我们自己内心，我们来发心，这才是永远都存在我们这身上的。
Right. So once we have that inspiration, then we have maybe a motivation to be motivated. Again, this motivation is
I feel old now.
it can be related. We can be motivated by external, other people. Or things that happen, but ultimately, again, it comes from within. We have to be self-motivated.
讲到这个第二点哈，就是这个有心，或者是也可以说我们有这个动力，也是通常是有些时候外面的一些事情或一些人给我们这种动力，我们要去做什么事情。但是同样的，真正的动力应该是来自我们内心，只有这样的这个来自内心的这个动力，它才会时时刻刻在我们身上。
And then next, so once we have this inspiration, we're motivated to do something, then we also need to have diligence. To put in the effort, earnest effort, true effort to do something. And I think, let's see, okay, so it's kind of related to the next one. Is when we do something, okay, we can be hardworking, but we also need to concentrate on what we're doing, focus. If we're constantly thinking about other things, we can't really do well, perform our task well.
好，有发心，然后我们又有这个动力要去做事情。接下来这一步骤就是要用心，也就是开始我们要用我们的努力，我们的实际行动来做这个事情，我们的达成我们的目标。那在做这个事情的时候，我们的这个专心也非常重要。没有这个专心的话，我们的精力是散的。
And this well, actually these are part of the 6 areas too. So if you want to become a bodhisattva, that's important.
其实用心刚好也是我们说6度波罗蜜的其中一个。那所以说我们要证悟这个佛道的话，这个用心非常非常重要。
Then we have determination. Right? We're very resolved. We're determined to do something to accomplish a task. Right? We don't say, oh, you start. Maybe we're inspired in the beginning, and we start working on it, and then we find out, wow, it's taking so long or so hard. Then you don't complete it. That's not good. We need to complete what we started. So we have to have that determination to make sure that no matter what, we get through all the obstacles to try to get to the end.
那么有了前面这4个哈，接下来这个决心很重要。我们有这个毅力，我们有这个恒心把它做下去。有些时候我们可能定一个非常好的目标，但是呢，我们做下来的时候发觉很难，或者说需要很长的时间、很耐心来把它做完。也许我们就半途而废了，那么这就很可惜。所以决心也是很重要的。
Okay, so also we need to have confidence, self-confidence, really. A lot of times we're given an opportunity or a task, and we say, "Oh no, I don't know how to do that. I can't do that." We make excuses. I mean, we're not comfortable. Maybe we haven't done it before, but we can always, as long as we have that spirit of learning, okay, willing to learn, then we can always try. Okay. Now I don't know. Maybe you guys have all seen Star Wars. I don't know if you've seen the first one, episode 4. Original Star Wars, right? Where Yoda talks to Luke Skywalker and says, "Don't try, do, right? Just do." Right? So anyways, yeah, we have to take that spirit in there and just say, go forward and just do it. There's also, I think there's a commercial that you say, just do it, right? But we have to have a little bit of at least some self-confidence, and don't you'd be surprised at what we can accomplish. It's we create those limitations ourselves. We create those obstacles for ourselves. These mental obstacles that we think, oh, I'm not, I don't know that, I'm afraid to try it. But once you really put your mind to it, anything is possible. You can accomplish anything.
那接下来这心心也很重要。我们有前面这几个心呢，我们要对自己的能力，对我们的潜力要有这样的信心哈。就是有些时候呢，我们如果是好像畏畏缩缩，还是犹犹豫豫的时候，那么我们的努力这个时候就会打折扣，所以很重要。不知道大家有没有看过《星球大战》，里面也是有这样一个对话，就是说其中一个人跟另外一个人讲说，哎呀，好像就说不确定能不能做，然后另外一个人就跟他讲，你就这么做就好了。所以说我们不管办什么事情，尤其是我们来修办道的时候，很重要的是我们要有一个 can do 这样的一个态度，我肯定能做。当我们有这样的态度的话，我们的所有的行动计划，我们的这个用心全部都会跟上，那么我们的事情真的就可以达成。
And of course, patience is very important because we don't know. Sometimes the task takes a long time. It's going to take a long time for us to accomplish something, and we don't want to related to determination. We don't want to give up halfway. And also, patience is also important in that we might get frustrated along the way. We encounter some obstacles, some difficulties, and it's like we rack our brains and still can't figure it out. We still have to have patience. We have to calm down, calm our minds to be able to think clearly and to be able to get through it, right? And I think, all right. So the next one is related to that persistence to continue along that path. So we set a goal, right? The goal is to complete this, whatever it is, the task, and we want to persist, make sure that we go from start to finish, continue, and reach our goal.
我们在做任何事情的时候，都可能会碰到一些阻力啊，或者一些障碍啊什么的哈。那这个时候就考验我们这个耐心，我们这恒心哈。在这时候，我们就是应该冷静下来，好好的想一个比较好的办法，然后呢去突破它。大家应该也知道，像爱迪生他在做试验的时候是几千次还是几万次，最后那次就成了。所以说，千万不要半途而废，一定要有这个恒心跟这个耐心。
Okay, and of course sincerity. Now this is very important. The sincerity. Confucius talks about sincerity, and this is really behind every action. You have to have sincerity. Okay, that's the true self, showing your true self, genuine self. Right. So in anything we do, we should be sincere about it. All right. So we undertake any task. We should always be sincere. And true sincerity to me also means that we put in full effort. I'll mention that later, but it's not like a half-hearted effort. It's almost, you combine everything, all of these things together, and it's part of that sincerity.
最后一点，这诚心哈，这也非常重要。它可以说是所有前面那几个心的这个灵魂，或者是它的我们说它主心骨哈。这个诚心呢，事实上就是孔夫子在他的这个一些论著里面也是非常强调这诚心，因为这诚心实际上就是我们真心佛性的展现。那么表现在我们的行为上，就是说我们做某件事情呢，我们不是半心半意的，而是全心全意、全力以赴。
Okay, so let's see. All right, so ultimately, we should always be true to ourselves, no matter what we do. Also, we obviously we use our wisdom and our conscience in terms of deciding what we're going to do. Let's say we're presented with a choice or a decision, right? We should always be use our wisdom, use our conscience, make sure we don't do something that we shouldn't do, right? But of course, someone gives us a task. If it's wrong, if it's not the right thing to do, then we should be careful, okay, about doing it. Even if it comes from someone, above us, that tells, oh, you got to do something, but maybe at work or anywhere, even in the temple, okay. So if someone tells you to do something that's going against your conscience, then you got to think twice. But also being true to ourselves is, if we can do something, task, the more or the less we rely on others, right? What we get out of it is really ours. Okay? Anything that we do is ours. Okay? Just like we talk about virtues, we perform merit. If we do it, right, that's ours. If someone else does it, well, it's theirs. You don't get that. So part of the attitude is also that we realize that, okay, so ultimately, I'm doing these things and it's helping me. Okay? That's it. And also being true to ourselves. We might think, okay, so maybe let's say we're doing a task. It's okay. Okay. Basically, someone tells us, okay, we're going to do something, and then you kind of do something, and then maybe I'm only doing it because I'm told, I don't like doing this. It's not my, or it just happens to be my job. Okay. But ultimately, we want to be true to ourselves. So, we should be happy doing something, at least not complaining about things that we do. Because once we start complaining, then we're also it's not helping ourselves either. Okay. So anyway, we have to be true to our conscience, true to our true nature, and in everything that we do. Right.
第一个诚实哈，事实上这边讲的就是说，我们不管做什么事情呢，都让我们的这个佛性来主导我们。也就是说，我们的天地良心哈，尤其是呢，当我们碰到一些选择，比如说我们的上司啊，或者是在佛堂，我们 在我们的前贤啊，是讲师啊，或者是点人师给我们一个任务要做的时候，那这时候也许这个任务不适合我们去做，或者是有点不是那么合乎道理的时候，那这时候我们就要让我们的这个佛性来帮我们做这个决定。还有一点呢，就是这个做这个就是诚实这方面哈，就是当我们做个事情的时候，不能说我们在做是因为人家告诉我们要这么做，那么我们做这事情的时候，也许我们就不会很认真、很全心全意的去做。我们应该就是真的很高兴的，然后呢负全责任的去做这件事情。所以说这诚实，一个是最终值的，还是要对得住我们这天理良心，我们的佛性，一切是从这个出发的。
Okay. Now next, this one, initiative is very important too. A lot of times, we start out and we're new, we don't know. Maybe we depend on other people to tell us, what we need to do, give us a direction. But gradually, as we learn more, as we understand more, we know more, we need to take the initiative and don't depend on others. Again, this is the same thing. We can't depend on other people to tell us, you need to do this, perform these merits. Because if they didn't tell us, then we're not going to do it, and that's we're not helping ourselves. Okay, so in anything we do, we try to take the initiative, and let's say we know that let's say cleaning needs to be done, so we automatically go and don't start cleaning and don't have to wait till other people tell us. Right, so when you have a lot of people, everyone's doing that, then wow, a lot can be done, right? As opposed to someone sitting by the side and just waiting for someone to tell them. So again, taking initiative is very important, and if we want to accomplish something, we need to take initiative.
那我们刚开始在佛堂帮忙做事的时候，可能一开始都是前贤来交代或者给我们布置任务。那一开始就说我们就这么做，可是呢，就过一段时间呢，我们是自己要有这种主动的精神而不是说人家让我们做什么，我们就像木偶一样，人家抽一下，我们才动一下，有没有？而是应该就说我们自己，比如说在佛堂的时候，看看有什么地方我们是可以帮得上的，就比如说我们星期天在清理佛堂什么的，我们就是大家很积极主动的去找事情做，而不是说就那么几个人在做。这个然后觉得也是觉得真的是很重要，就是我们要能够自己去看到事情，有这种主动积极的态度。
And then of course when we do, we're given a task, a responsibility, a duty, and we should be dependable, take responsibility, right, for what we're supposed to do. If we're not dependable, right, later on people realize that and they're not going to ask us to do something, right? So again, all of these things work together, but being dependable, that's very important. Also being true to yourself, right? So we try to do our best to complete any given task. And so that other people can rely on us and we depend on ourselves too.
最后一个就是可靠性就是我们在工作上或者在佛堂，就是人家给我们事情的话，那我们就要负全责。我们应该就是说把这个事情做到最后有个结果，我们才能罢休。如果是说人家给我们事情，然后我们就不管了，放在那边或做一半就停下来了，那么请问以后人家会信任我们，还会给我们这种行功了面的机会吗？所以说就是这3点都非常重要。
Okay. And of course, we try to be as efficient as possible too. There are many ways to do a task, and we can be slow, or we can be, or maybe use inefficient methods to do something. So we always try to be as efficient as possible because, time is precious, right? We have to make the best use of our time, best use of our resources, our efforts, right? So always be more efficient. The Buddhas always remind us too, try to make the most efficient use of the resources that we have, right? So again, we can. This is, being efficient is good for us. Whether it's at work or at school, right? We're more efficient in learning and doing our homework or doing the work. Other people look upon that and say, wow, it's really good. You get better grades, you get promoted, whatever.
那么这接下来就有一个效率哈，就是对我们来讲，就是时间都非常宝贵。所以说，我们接到一个任务的时候，我们就要想办法怎么样能够很有效的，在最少的时间内把它完成。那就是说，需要我们动用我们所有的资源，不管是我们内在的一些资源，或者外在的资源，不管是在学校啊，在工作或者在佛堂，我们都能够尽量的以最好的、最快的时间，然后最好的质量来完成一项工作。那么大家肯定都会就是赞叹我们的。
Now this one, being detailed and thorough. Okay, so it depends. Some people are more detailed than others. I realize that, but everything that we do, if we do a sloppy job, right, we don't pay attention, we're not meticulous about what we're doing, we do something sloppily, then what happens is, yeah, maybe we accomplished the job, we didn't do it that well, okay, and then someone else has to then follow up and either correct the things that we didn't do right, things like that. So this is very important. A lot of people they like to try to cut corners or shortcuts, right, and trying to complete something. But in the end, you pay for that. Maybe maybe you end up causing other people to quote unquote waste their time, trying to correct our mistakes.
OK， 最后一个就是做事情的那种细致哈。那每个人对这个做事情的方法什么都是不一样的。那有些人会很细致。那我们帮忙做事情的时候，都要尽量的考虑到每个细节，不要做得马马虎虎。也许我们是把事情做完了，可是呢，后面还有个人来帮我们做一些那个补全的事情，或者我们说擦屁股的事情。那这样就是等于说是浪费了2个人的资源，浪费2个人的时间所以说我们都要有这种就是比较细致的哈，尽量把事情做到比较尽善尽美。
We should always have this attitude to be, wanting to improve ourselves. That's one thing, and also maybe even improving. Let's say there's a process or a method that you use to do something to accomplish a task, right? So that's part of being efficient, right? We can be more efficient, do the job better in less time, or using less resources. Right? These are all very good attitudes and qualities to have, whether anywhere in life. Okay, you make use of this. So that's why it's very important. We have to have that proper attitude. I see some people, or a lot of people actually, they learn something. Okay, they're taught how to do something in a certain way. That's all they know, and they'll just do it that way, right? Even though there may be a better way, right? So again, that relates back to initiative too. Take the initiative to learn more about it, right? A lot of people, they just, this is the task, I don't want to care about anything else, I'll just do it this way. But always, be willing to learn, that's a very good attitude, is to then, that we can improve, because, for example, like in a word processor, right, you do cut and paste or copy and paste all the time, right? But it's very slow if you're using the mouse all the time, okay, to copy and paste. Right, so there's keyboard shortcuts. Right? You learn those, and so even though maybe you don't know that there is such a thing, it's a more fundamental attitude of trying to find a better way. Okay, so maybe you only learn one way, but think that maybe there is a better way, and then you go search and look into help and all that, the documentation, see if there is another way to do it. And I know that because I always like to be very efficient, and so it's very tedious. When I find something very tedious, I'm going to try to find a better way. Okay, so that's a very good kind of a mindset attitude to have.
那这个自强不息，或者说不断的提高自己哈，一个是说我们有这个学习力，我们愿意一直学习，不断提高自己，学新的东西。但事实上还有一个很重要的一方面，就是说我们不断的去提高我们做事情 的这个效率，也就是说我们要去找不同的做事情的方法，怎么样来做是最有效的，然后我们又可以从中学习。那其实金讲师发现，就是很多人，比如说别人教他做这个事情这么做，那么这个人可能就是以这个方式一直做下去。那金讲师他本人是这样子，一个方式一直做下去，他觉得会很烦躁的，不很单调的。然后他就会想一个更好的办法来做比如说我们在做一些文字处理大部分人就是要做一些编辑什么，是用那个 copy paste 的。那事实上我们的键盘有一些那种捷径会比较快，怎么样？所以说我们就是要能够善用一些这个好的办法来提高我们做事的效率，以及我们做出来的事情的这个质量。后学觉得金讲师很多地方都是讲的都是后学。
I'm not saying anyone in particular, it's just general, everyone.
对号入座。
Okay, so and then learning, of course, is a lifelong process. You know, again, this related to what I just said. You know, we don't stop learning once someone teaches us this method. That we don't just stop there. We try to keep improving, keep learning more. Because once we stop there, then we're stuck there. Okay, so in order to improve ourselves, to keep improving, working our way up, we need to keep learning. So having that spirit of wanting to learn is very important.
OK， 然后就是我们在刚刚讲，就是说有些别人教我们这个办法，但是我们可以想办法，就是把这个办法再怎么样提升到另外一个程度，所谓的就是说叫做教与学互长哈。然后就接下来一个就是我们这个不断的提高自己学习这些东西。这应该是一个一生的一个过程，一生都必须都一直在这么做，而不是说到某个点上我就停止学习了。这应该是就是说我们说上有一息尚存的时候，我们都还需要再学习。
Related to all this, I mean, sometimes maybe we don't have that motivation for ourselves. Like, I don't need to learn these new things or extra things. But you know, maybe we should be motivated by saying, well, if I can do these things better or find a better way, it can help other people too, right? Be a benefit to others. So that, you know, this motivation is kind of two ways. I mean, you know, we want to be motivated to be a benefit to other people, not just ourselves. So if it's just for ourselves, we might say, oh, okay, I don't have to do that, I don't have to learn that. But it's for other people to benefit others, then maybe that gives a little bit more motivation.
那其实，在讲到说我们不断学习、提高自己不能只是说，给我们就我们的学到我们提高，都是只是自己其实如果是这样的话，有一些时候我们会觉得我们已经学到很多了，已经学够了，不需要再学了。但是我们应该这么想，如果我们学得更好，我们掌握更多的技术，我们可以去教给别人，那这个学习的意义就更大了，更广了。所以说，我们应该有这样的思想，这样的这种态度。
Okay, so yeah, I mean, you know, when we go through life and deal with things, you know, we don't have to necessarily think about each one of these. Oh, am I doing this? Am I doing this? It should come. It'll come naturally, as long as we again put in that have that sincerity, wholehearted effort, be true to ourselves. You know, these things then will gradually. It'll come, but I think initially, if we're not like this in the beginning, then it may require a little bit of pushing, you know, some external encouragement, if you will, from the outside to kind of push us in that direction. And then once we get started, then I think it'll be easier. That we'll naturally start doing these things, right? Having the right attitudes.
OK， 那刚刚金讲师讲这些东西呢，就一开始呢，我们就是可能还需要一些外在的推力，但是慢慢的，我们就是时常的来检视这些东西，去学习这些，就有这么几个态度有这样的用心这些方法的话，慢慢的这些东西就会在我们身上具足。我们不需要说我今天在做这件事情，我是不是用到这个心，或用到那个方法？就是慢慢的一直在学习这些东西，自然就会在我们身上留下来。
Okay, so here, this is kind of there's like three types of people maybe. Well, it's not just three, but these are three you know, I don't know where you fit in there. Like for me, yeah, you can say I tend to be a perfectionist. You know, I try to perfect everything I'm doing. But at the same time, you know, try to be pragmatic too, be practical. Okay, because obviously, you know, we want to achieve this ideal. Some people, they're idealists, right? They have this, you know, ideal vision of how things should be, but you know, there are many constraints, real-world constraints that prevent you from achieving that, you know, ideal as you think of it. So we have to be, you know, we can't be just one of these. I mean, we have to basically take all of them. We can be idealistic, right, in our thinking, but realize that, you know, there's a practical side to things, that there are limitations. But no matter what, we have to do our best, right, to perfect what we do, and that's yeah. So it's kind of like in this triangle. It's like all three are very important, but we don't want to be too, you know, concentrated on one, right?
OK， 我们现在看这三角哈，有大致三种人。第一个是最上面是理想主义，这个是完美主义，这个是现实主义。那就是我不知道各位是觉得这是比较靠哪一种哈？那像金讲师说他自己本身是比较喜欢完美的哈，但是呢，在追求完美的同时呢，他也注意同时也考虑到做事情，我们要考虑到这事情的实际可行性，还有这个事情的这个实际应用性啊。那有些人他对就是说他的前景啊，或者对他的前途都有很好的一些理想。那事实上，作为我们一个比较可以说比较 thorough 比较完全的一个人哈，就应该就是说不是说偏向哪一种，是应该三个都在我们身上都有。比如说我们要有个理想，那有这个理想在做过程中呢，我们就说要尽量做的尽善尽美，同时呢也要考虑到每件事情可能都会有一些现实的因素啊，或者一些制约啊什么的。那我们就怎么样去克服这些制约，来达成我们的目标。
From my own experience, I used to. Well, I worked at a big company, HP, right? And I was working on this tool that it was, again, going back to the previous thing. It was helping me do my job, because I thought, there are all these things I need to update all these systems, and do it manually is kind of a lot of work, and so it takes a lot of time. So I created a tool that will help me automate the process. Now, the thing is, I've been working on this tool. It wasn't really my official job, but I was kind of doing it on the side at first, and it was kind of consuming a lot of my time. And so my manager says, it's good enough. Don't spend too much time on it, right? There's this rule, this 80-20 rule, right? So when we achieve 80%, that last 20% is going to take like 80% effort to achieve that last 80%. So we have to know when to say, oh, this is good enough. We can't, otherwise we're going to be spending too much time and effort to try to accomplish that last little bit, a few percent, to try to perfection. So again, this is using our wisdom, using all the real world constraints that we're working with. So that says, you have to be pragmatic. And especially, that's true in like a company. When you're working at a company, obviously, time is money and all that. So you have to, sometimes you may not achieve that ideal or be perfect. But there's some trade-offs.
那刚刚金讲师讲了他自己做事的风格好，就讲他一个具体的例子。原来金讲师是在 Hewlett Packard 上班，然后都是搞这技术方面的。那他觉得就是说，他们做这些事情应该有个比较自动化的一种程序来做事情，所以他会额外的再花时间去，就是怎么样去研发一个就比较好的系统来做这个事情。那他当花了很多的时间，所以他可能是他的上层有说可能就差不多好了，不要花那么多时间。那金讲师也意识到，就是说有个80%跟80%跟20%这样一个这种定义，或者这样一个 这样一个定义吧哈，就是说好像就是说你如果是花了80%的时间要来做最后20%， right?
Yeah, because I mean it's pretty easy maybe to get to the 80%. Then at the last, 10-20% is very, takes a lot of time and effort.
也就是说，我们前面80%的工作，可能就是一般的努力可以做不到，可是就是到了那个瓶颈的地方哈，你就需要花80%的精力来完成的20%。那么这个时候我们就要考虑，我们不要说我们只是要做一个理想主义或者完美主义，这时我们要考虑到现实，因为我们公司是花钱来让我们做事的。那有些时候我们这时间如果花的不是非常有这个智慧的话，我们也是在浪费公司的资源。同样，我们也所以这是要用我们的这个我们的这个佛性，我们的这个妙智慧来做这个决定。
Okay, so everyone understands. I'm falling asleep already. Lunch was too good, I guess. Blame the lunch. Okay, so now, so that's kind of the background that I think we all need to know and to understand, because that'll help us in anything. So now I'm going to talk a little bit more specifically about the process of going about trying to let's say to do something. Let's say we want to investigate, we want to upgrade our systems or do anything. Okay, so I'm just going to talk about the process in general. Okay, so the first is there's a motivation for something, right? So usually there's a need for something, right? We need a solution, right? So there's a problem and we need to come up with some solution. For example, an example, all right, we need to share files. Maybe sometimes you share files with lecturers and whoever, other people. So we have to go out and find technology, something that we can use to easily share files, right? Okay, so that's making things easier, make our job more efficient, right? That's another motivation. We want to be more efficient in what we're doing. And also, this thing about standard, maybe not apply too much here, but there's a saying, in the computer industry that standard is better than better, right? Because you may have a better technology, but if it's not standard, it's going to cause all sorts of problems because no one else can work with it, and it's not compatible, right? So in this sense, just like us here, we all kind of use a de facto standard Windows Office environment, right? But some people, if they're not using Office, right, the applications, they're using maybe OpenOffice. There's some compatibility issues when you're working with them, exchanging documents. So that's something that we have to consider. That's one of the considerations. And then all right, so these are kind of a list of some of the motivations that you may have for trying to do something.
那么现在就金讲师呢是把这个刚刚那些问题呢开始就说focus 是说怎么样着重强调一个过程，比如说我们在讲哈，我们有这个 motivation 有这个动力，那有这个动力通常是来自于一个课题，比如说我们需要去解决一个问题，对不对？那我们需要，比如说我们有些时候我们佛堂一些资料要跟其他的前贤去分享，那么我们怎么样来更好、更有效率的分享这些资源呢？要怎么比较容易让大家可以更容易的共享资源，或者是说我们做这个资源共享的时候要怎么样来比较有效率啊？那么就是在这个行业，也可能是他们技术行业有一句话叫 "Standard is better than better"， 也就是说这个标准可以说是至高无上的，它比更好还更好，也就是说没有比它更好的。有点忘了后面这是什么。
Oh, well, that's all right. Okay, so, sorry. All right, so then next we consider cost, right? A lot of times, we always have to consider these things, these issues, right? A lot of times we try to get the free stuff, right? Use the free stuff. And I always try to look for the free tools, free software, whatever, see if it can do the job. So that's an upfront cost for us. We have to buy something, buy the software or technology to use it. Right? So that's something that to consider. Then of course there's a learning curve, and anything new that we get, we always have to learn how to use it. Then we have to train everyone to use it. Okay, so there's that cost too. And then finally, the maintenance cost. Once you have it, then is there any kind of ongoing type of maintenance, upgrades, things like that you have to do to keep it running properly? That's more true of like the hardware. Okay, hardware aspects of things. Okay, like the PCs, and you have to upgrade the operating systems or whatever. All right, so these are kind of considerations in terms of like cost.
因为大家都是以后佛堂生力军，所以我金讲师就是让我们就有这样一个意思，我们做什么事情都有一个成本，对不对？那首先，比如说我们在做一些我们系统的更新啊什么，有些时候呢，你就花钱去买一个软件或者买一个硬件都可能。但是金讲师呢，知道我们佛堂不是会制造这个钱的这种财富的地方，所以他总是尽量到网上去找一些免费的这个软件下载啊什么哈。那接下来呢，我们有这样一个软件啊，或者这样一个硬件，有这样一个设备呢，我们还需要去学习要怎么样去操作它。那这个就是也是需要花时间，这也算是一个机会成本，对不对？最后一个呢，就是有这些设备啊或软件，我们讲怎么样去维护这些东西啊，这也是一个成本在里面，都必须要考虑的。
Okay, so all right, so I'll probably just kind of go through this because this basically goes back to those attitudes that we were talking about. So is there a better way to do something? We're always talking about will. Where there's a will, there's a way, right? Yeah, we let's say that goal is our ideal, and so we have to have that will, that determination. Say, okay, as long as it turns out to be something that can be that's practical, that can be accomplished, then we should do it. And then again, sincerity and concentration. Okay, so I don't want to spend any more time on this as we already talked about.
所以回到这个我们今天的这个主题，这个态度问题哈。我们在做事情的时候，一定要经常问这个问题：有没有更好的办法来完成这项工作？那接下来呢，就是只要我们认定这个目标是可行的，那我们就要全力以赴。有那么一句话：有志者事竟成。我们记住这句话。然后最后还是一样，就做事情，我们要给我们的真心、我们的诚心，就刚刚讲到的，还有就是我们是不是全力以赴，有这个专心在做这件事情。
And then, whoops. So how do we choose? Okay, so we start looking for a solution. Then you need to do research. Okay, so that's another thing that a lot of people, they like to just get an answer given to them. So actually today, I wanted to give you all this. But talk about this to. In essence, not give you the fish, but teach you how to fish. Or the tool. Okay, yeah. So we don't eat fish here, but instead of giving you the tofu, how do you make the tofu? So that to understand the process, and so that, because this is pretty much the process that I go through in doing anything. So research. This takes a lot of time actually. This research, especially so we know that we want to do something specific. Let's say we want to share files, so we go on the internet, we go search for all sorts of technologies. That there's also these cloud, storage, sharing services. Then you have to figure out, okay, compare each one, see, what are the trade-offs, what's the benefit, and what are the disadvantages of each. So that's a whole process. And then again, going back to the attitudes being thorough, detailed, and all that. So it's not easy. So every time, I'm tasked to go, oh, you need to buy something. To make it sound so easy, yeah, just buy this thing. I have to spend a lot of time to research and make sure it's the best thing, best price, all that, right? So that's something that maybe I try to be too perfect, but in the end, it benefits everyone.
接下来这个就是讲我们的选择哈，就有些时候我们要解决一个问题呢，那我们就要找出这个解决问题的这个途径哈。那金讲师说，今天他告诉大家，就是他碰到一个任务或者一个项目，他是怎么做的。那这个就是做一些我们说去搜寻啊，这个很重要。那么比如说。我们在刚刚讲这个资源共享哈，比如他就需要去找一些可以在云端储存的这样一个这种媒体或这样一个工具或者这样一个这个就是存储的这样子的东西。那么他会去看各种各样的这种 产品啊但是他不会说只是看一个部分，他会就是平衡这个利弊，然后找出一个最适合我们自己的这样一个产品来。所以说，那这过程中呢，就是我们刚刚讲的，你要很细致，你要考虑很全面，这些东西就都用得上。
So time's up, anyways. But this is so. Today, I just wanted to give you kind of this is a foundation for being able to apply. If you can apply this in everything that you do, then I think you can be successful. And so, I hope that you'll take this to heart and learn to follow. I didn't give you a specific, any particular method, but these are general guidelines for you to consider. Okay. All right. So I thank you for your attention.
今天金讲师可以说给我们抛了很多宝，让我们知道以后我们做事情我们需要考虑一些什么东西。虽然他并没告诉我们具体的什么办法，但是他给我们一个思维的方式。
Thank you. 1. Two. Okay, thank you. Thank you.